What's up? Soraya, I see you. Colby. And whoever else is on. Let's see. Shakur Joseph. Evening, Frank. Hope all is well. And you're doing good. Thank you. I'm doing well. Doing pretty good. Over here, it's 2:21 a.m. 2 a.m. at night. Feeling good, thank you. Because as usual, I'm just here to speak my mind. If you got any questions, just type them in. And yeah, whatever you want to know, whatever you have questions about when it comes to witchcraft, just type it in. I'll pick it up and then answer your questions about that. And besides that, I'm just going to speak my mind, let you know what's going on in my magical development with my rituals and what else I'm doing. Okay. Well, what am I working on currently? Well, I recently finished the Neidan path working, which is basically some inner alchemy stuff. Okay. And you do that in order to prepare for the afterlife and to build the body that you're going to inhabit after physical death. I'm also preparing for a podcast that's going to start soon. On the 15th, I think that's when we have the first episode. It's going to be with a colleague of mine that I'm sure you heard about, E.A. Coeting, and we're going to do this podcast twice a month, every 2 weeks on Sundays, and it's going to be about different spiritual masters that we work with, evoke them, and see what we can add to their teachings. Should we awaken Kundalini by our own or go to a teacher? I think you need a teacher for that. I never heard of anyone who's done it by themselves, to be honest. Kundalini in a way is also, it's like an initiation. Self-initiation does not work, Self-initiation makes no sense, because an initiation means something is transitioned over to you, it's transmitted, right? And you then kind of like the fire burns within you that has been ignited within you, right? But that can't happen if you don't have the right frequency. If you don't have access to that frequency, you can't initiate somebody. So self-initiation does not work, and raising Kundalini, awakening Kundalini is a form of initiation. So I don't think you can do that by yourself. You need somebody who is more advanced at that than you, I believe. I don't know if I like my beard. I want to change something about my style. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. The ladies that are on here, help me. Which type of beard would you like best on me? What do you think looks best on me? A full beard, complete full beard, or something like this, or the other one where I just have the mustache and the lower part? What is your opinion on that, ladies? Let me make a quick survey here. goatee and mustache. Okay, so this. Okay, shaved off. Got it. Makes me look younger too. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, definitely. So what we need to do, what everybody needs to do at one point, is you need to stop learning from the books, because at one point they don't have the answers anymore. See, at one point the magician reaches a point where you've gone through everything. Goatee. Okay, only a goatee or mustache and goatee? Just a goatee? I don't know. That looks weird. I haven't seen myself without a mustache for years. I would freak out every morning looking at myself. Anyways, yeah. At one point, the magician needs to stop learning from books, and he has to go directly to the source. What is the source in this case? Well, the teachers. Mustache, you got it. The teachers that have written those books. You see, so I used to be a fan, or I have been a fan. I have been a fan of philosophy and a student of philosophy ever since right around 15, 16. That's when I got really interested in it. And I studied everything from the Greeks to, let's say, the Romans and others, Tao Te Ching and stuff like that. So I have a pretty broad understanding to what extent can you really say you understand philosophy, right? But I've studied a lot of that stuff. But at one point, the books are just not sufficient anymore, right? And I'm sure you've had similar experiences where you were studying something, and at one point it's like, okay, now, is it really another book that's going to give me the answer? Is the next book going to give me a deeper understanding, or the understanding that I'm looking for right now? And well, and the problem with answers that you find is that a good answer usually has the attribute, or it has the attribute that it causes more questions, right? At least that's what I found always. When you find a good answer, it always allows you to ask more questions, right? Now, the point is, at one point you can't learn from books anymore. You got to go directly to the authors. And so it started for me when I would evoke these characters: Plato, Aristotle, all of them, Seneca, all of these philosophers that I could find out about and would gain specific answers. Because see, when the body dies, there's an astral corpse that is left behind, right? Necromancy. You can call upon it, you can ask it, and you're going to be able to draw upon the wisdom and the understanding of the entire lifetime of that thing. It's pretty crazy. So as you do that, you learn more, absolutely. And at one point, that is absolutely necessary. So this is why we're doing this podcast. Magic gives you the ability to break the rules of space and time. Okay, so you can talk to the dead, you can talk to the old masters, you can even look into the future, right? And this podcast is going to be the attempt to bring back the old masters and their teachings, and to give you new teachings from those sources, and of course our own as well. All right, and that's essentially what we're working on there. There's a lot of people who awaken Kundalini by their own. Many of them have shared their experience on YouTube. Okay, sure. If you believe everything they say. Have you ever noticed, my friend? Have you ever noticed that very, very few people in the spiritual community have testimonials? Have you noticed that? Why is that? In any business coaching, when you go to the website, you will probably find a couple of testimonials, won't you? Right? Because you can verify that. Right? Or rather, the question is, why do very few people in the spiritual realm do that? People tell me, well, spirituality is a subjective experience, right? And it's very hard to verify. They believe they had that experience, so it is their experience. Well, not so fast and not so easy. Because there is an objective level to witchcraft and magic, you see. I don't know anyone who's got the amount of testimonials that I got. And not just written where you can't verify that. Those are actual people that speak into the camera. You can see and you can feel that they're actually genuine, you see. So one thing that I've learned is that you don't believe anything without proof. You don't believe anything. You shouldn't believe anything unless you can verify that in some way or another. Okay. So just because somebody claims something on YouTube, why would you believe them? In fact, the chances are probably higher that they're lying, right? Unless you believe that humanity is filled with kind-hearted, flawless angels, right? Now, if that would be the case, man, like if that's your world, man, good for you. Awesome. I don't live in that world. I live in a world where a lot of people lie, you know? So just look, I mean, this is not an argument. And I'm not trying to take anything away from you. All I'm saying is, to me personally, just because somebody says something, it doesn't mean shit. Can you prove it? Do you have testimonials? Do other people verify what you just said? That increases the chances of what I just heard being real, a many-fold, right? Right? Because when it comes to my testimonials, you got two choices. You got two choices. Either I paid those people, right? Either I paid those people to make those testimonials, or those testimonials are actually real. Okay? So in 50% of the chances, or yeah, you at least have a 50% chance that I'm actually the real deal, you see? And that's way more, a way higher chance than what you will find on any other spiritual channel that I know. Okay? A lot of them just get, a lot of clicks, that's it. But that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't say anything about the quality. Those are just clicks. I might not be the biggest channel and I might not have the most students, but hey, I don't want the most students. Okay. And my students are very, very loyal. That's all I want, quality over quantity. Who gives a shit, Fuck people. Who cares? Fuck them. In fact, fuck everybody. Okay, let me go there. It's the game versus everybody. That's what my. That's by the way the fashion brand of my friend Kevin Gentry. Check him out. Balls Hog Macaroni. That's a real one. That guy's the real one. The game versus everybody. All right. What's this? I've often pondered living off the grid in isolation to develop my skills and all of my interests, including spirituality. Is there a way it can be done to the benefit of others or the greater whole, or is this just a childish, selfish thought? Yeah, I mean, look, caring about other people has its place. But the first thing you need to do, and all that is required of you, is to improve yourself in many ways. Focus on your own issues, focus on your own obstacles, and grow past those obstacles. And as a result of that, you're gonna grow stronger, and then naturally, you're gonna help others. That's gonna be a natural result of that. So I wouldn't focus on others. Focus on yourself first, and then the rest is gonna happen naturally. I don't believe anyone with words. I love those who speak with experience. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt Frank is the best. His programs require sustained effort, but progress is consistent and effective and gains momentum through his superior skills. Yeah, thank you. What's up, Frank? Been watching your videos like crazy, learning a lot. Do you have a course on invoking archangels or planetary spirit ritual? A course on invoking archangels. So the technique for any spirit is the same. If you want to invoke it, there might be some, whatever, some ritual details that might be different from invoking when you invoke a different entity, but the technique is the same. I don't have a specific course for that. Not really. But if you get on my programs, you're going to learn that as a byproduct. Thank you. Thank you so much. Can't say how much I appreciate it. You're welcome. How can you close yourself if you are an empath, Frank? I don't think you can. I'm an empath too. What you need to do. It's funny. I actually am an empath. Really, I promise. Really, I'm serious right now. I know that I don't come across like that, but I am. But the point is, you just make some time for yourself. You have to. You can't. Basically, you can't become a hermit. I don't think it's a good idea to become a hermit. So just make sure that you have enough time to yourself and to recharge yourself. Say you party. Make sure that one day you can totally close off and then don't have to see anybody. Can be by yourself the whole day. It's just a matter of recharging yourself. That's what it is. An empath is just somebody that has a tendency to is very perceptive. Okay, very perceptive. So it means that you need time to basically clear all the input that you've gotten. You see, so it's just a matter of making time on a daily basis, ideally, where you're completely by yourself, where you can center yourself again. I know a lot of people don't need that. A lot of people can't stand being alone, and a lot of people are like, they recharge while being around other people. I'm not like that. I like to be around people, but also like to be alone. And I gain a lot of energy from being alone. I guess that's my introverted side, but I also like to be around people, the right people, definitely. It depends. It's all about balance. Everything's about balance. Because I've been there, where there were times when I didn't do anything for 2 weeks. I didn't even go out. I didn't even do groceries. I had them delivered for weeks, and I would do nothing but meditate, do rituals, out of body travels, call up demons here and there for 2 weeks, man. And then the first day going out, it's crazy. So just make sure that you have some time to recharge. That's really what I'm saying. No, we're at 29 people. Yeah, what else should I say about the podcast that's coming up? Well, the podcast that's coming up is, like I said, it is going to be about ancient masters. We're going to do a ritual where we evoke them, give you their teachings, and probably also a summary about what they were teaching, because a lot of those are not very well known. I mean, what do you really know about Violet Flame? Do you know anything about Saint Germain? Right, most people don't know about them, and I see it as my job, or our job in this case with this project, to bring back their teachings, just to make it well known again, and I'm sure you're going to get a lot out of it, even outside of the magical perspective. Frank, do you agree with chakra removal? No, I don't. I've heard of that concept. I don't think it's. I've never done it, and I don't really see a point in doing that. You know, it's. I don't really see a point in doing it. See, in my opinion, if somebody actually removed their chakras, they would drop dead. Yeah. So I have a hard time believing that this is actually doable. But whatever, you know, people. Once again, people can say all kinds of shit. People can claim whatever the fuck they want. You see, I removed my chakras. You know, I played the Akashic records up and down. I listened to yeah. I got a collection of the Akashic records in my other room and shit. People can say whatever the fuck they want. It's a matter of being able to prove that you actually get results. That's really what I pay attention to. See, I mean, this is totally. I mean, why would you remove your chakras? What does that even mean? Do you understand the functions of the chakras? The chakras connect the energy body to the physical body through some glands. So if you remove the chakras, that which gives life to the physical body is cut off, which means that if you remove chakras, you would have the body drop dead like this, and life force would leave it. You see, and the body would start to decay. So to me, this is a weird idea. It makes no sense at all. You know, but it might sound great. I don't know. Maybe it sounds cool to some people, but to me, it makes zero sense. Removing chakras. It's yeah. Whatever. I heard that some people do that in an attempt to seem super satanic and anti-cosmic and whatever, but come on, sometimes it just turns into silliness. You know, you can't be taboo and dark and sinister for the sake of being sinister. That's like a teenager, man. That's like a teenager who, I don't know, wants to shock the world. It's not about shocking the world. How old are we? We're not kids. We're not teenagers. We're adults, and we understand that life has a dark side to it. That's cool. That's fine. But I don't need to bring more darkness into the world. Man, the world is dark enough. The world is harsh enough. Daily life, just living life, brings enough tragedy into your existence. Okay, this is Malkuth. Malkuth is dominated by Saturn. You see, has enough pain to it. Has enough pain to it. You know. Now, when you have you ever communicated with these super sinister and dark magicians? You know, like these I don't know, anti-cosmic Satanists or whatever. They have no idea what it means to go through pain. Usually, they're just sickos. They're ridiculous. They are first world people. First world people. Okay, nobody in the first world in the 21st century knows true hardship. Okay, it's foolish to look. I mean, if you put things into perspective, where people talk about how harsh the existence is and life's all about destruction and blah blah blah. Look, why don't you go to the Congo or something, or Liberia or something like that, okay? Where you have a civil war going on, where people are getting killed left and right. You got fucking look. I mean, these are harsh places, okay? And this is where you can if you're tough, if you're so tough, you know, just like those people that always claim they're so tough, they're super tough. I'm so tough. I'm so tough. But hey, buddy, why don't you fucking join the military and go get killed in a war if you're so tough? You know what I mean? It's like those people that talk so much about darkness and destruction and all that. If you look, I mean, if you think that your life is so harsh, like you have no context at all, okay? Listen, I'm telling you, all of us, including myself, we're all weak compared to even just a couple generations ago. They had tough lives. None of us has a tough life at all. Yeah, we're dealing with stuff that is a joke. And we take ourselves too serious, generally speaking. People take themselves too serious. And that is the key or the core of our struggle. When using Reiki to charge a dream incubation, is it necessary to make a sigil, or can you just write the intention sentence out and charge? Yeah, you can do that. The sigil is not necessary. I gotta agree with you on this. Thanks. Thank you for sharing your opinion. Do you think it's overly engineered if I document my magic results via an Excel sheet? Would be interesting how you do that. Is there a score that you give yourself? Well, I mean, why not? Excel spreadsheet. I wonder what your personality type is. Are you a, let's see, in Myers-Briggs, you're probably INTJ, right? Or INTP. Luke Scalpello. No. John Winters. Gene Winters. INTJ. There you go. You see? Yep, that's your personality type. Hey Frank, what is the difference between spirit and soul? If we are all connected, then why do we need to have suffering and cause harm to each other? Can you also talk about the ego? Okay, I'm gonna go through it one by one. What is the difference between the spirit and the soul? Not much. It's pretty much. I think these terms are interchangeable. If we are all connected, then why do we need to have suffering and cause harm to each other? Well, because our perception requires that. We don't have to. We can choose a perception that creates separation. You see, and when you perceive the other as other, you are gonna do certain things that benefit you and not the other. However, if you expand your consciousness to where you can perceive and sense that everything is connected, the other is no longer the other, and you're going to act in a way where it benefits them too. It's mainly a matter of perception. Reality is what it is. It's our perception that decodes it in a certain way, and based on that, we act. But if you expand your consciousness, and this is everybody's choice, by the way, you change your activities, and based on that, you will get different results. So suffering is not a necessity. Suffering is the result of our perceptions, and most people are suffering an overactive, projection into the future, which is called worry, and usually negative visualization. As they do that, they worry, meaning that they visualize negative outcomes, and they remember painful events, which there's all logic to this, okay? Because evolutionarily speaking, you don't want to make the same mistakes again, you see? So your subconscious is trying to not get you into the same situation. So it warns you. But so physically you don't make the same mistakes, but internally you're suffering the mistake that you made 10 years ago still. Okay, how many times are you suffering something from the past that has no existence in the present time anymore? Okay, so your mind is making you suffer. It's not the world. And you perceive the world through your mind. So what you need to do is you need to fix your mind. And when you fix your mind, your suffering decreases. And you can also change your perception in a way where you perceive yourself as part of the whole, which is essentially, which is the later part of your question, which is basically transcending the ego. And ideally, this is also the transition or the development that we go through as we grow older. Okay, the theory of the mind is a state of awareness where a child becomes aware that it is not the center of the universe. Have you ever been on an airplane and there was a little child, a baby, or let's say a toddler, 2, 3 years old, and they're usually very obnoxious, meaning they don't give a shit what is going on around them. They're going to cry, they're going to yell, they're going to spit, they're going to poo their pants, you know. Why is that? Because in their world, the only thing that exists is their own desires and themselves, and everything has to do what they want. That's a child. That's a certain level of consciousness, certain level of awareness of the world, which is another word for consciousness. Consciousness is awareness. To what extent are you aware of things? A child doesn't have a theory of the mind, meaning it doesn't understand that there is another person with another perspective. And in fact, an entire plane full of people with, maybe they've been tired, maybe they want to sleep, maybe they want to eat, maybe they're just annoyed by that kid crying, right? The child doesn't understand that. And we understand that the child doesn't understand it, but the progression then is the consciousness, the awareness grows, where the child understands, okay, this other person, usually around 7 years old, that's when it happens. That person might have a completely different perspective, right? And then we go through more and more different stages, okay? But they're usually a couple of years long, 2, 3 years, and they're always more self-centered and more altruistic, okay? So you will go through a stage where you become this rebellious teenager, for instance, okay? That's around 13, 14, where you don't give a shit about anything, right? No rules, fuck the law, fuck parents, fuck teachers, I just want to do whatever the fuck I want to do, right? And then you grow past that, you become like 17, your mind develops to a level where it understands consequences better, and so on and so forth, you see. And we go through these cycles throughout our entire lives. There's no end to this, okay? However, certain people stop at a certain level, okay? So it's definitely possible that you meet a 50-year-old person that they're stuck at the level of whatever, of a 20-year-old or 15-year-old, you know. It really depends on the individual, how far they develop in terms of awareness, you see. Their consciousness develops, and awareness is always becoming aware of the interconnectedness of things. Spirituality is just a tool to help you develop that understanding, right? So where do you think a lot of the political affiliations come from that people have, you see? A lot of people out there are really, really, really not aware of how things work and how things are interconnected. All they see is their own little tiny world, and everything in that world is that's it, you know. They don't understand that their actions might affect something else. And they don't understand that there's something like responsibility for coming generations. They don't get that. They're like, fuck the planet. I don't give a shit about climate change. I don't give a fuck. Okay? I want to drill oil today so I can live, or so I can buy this fat car tomorrow. I don't give a shit. Okay, that's a certain level of consciousness. Another state of consciousness is you understand that you are a temporary blip, a minor blip, like completely insignificant when it comes to, forget about the universe, the planet. You're one individual out of 7 billion currently, and I don't know how many. I think they say that they have around 30 billion humans existed throughout the beginning, like the beginning of our species until now. Altogether, 30 billion have existed, right? They like, and after us, there are going to be many, many more. You see, so let's say you have a different level of consciousness. You understand that your desires and your, needs are not that significant. It's not that important, man. It's not that important. Okay, I might have 80 years, 90 years, but there's something coming after me. So saving the planet is maybe not that stupid of an idea, or it's maybe more important than me, right? Doesn't it make sense that it's more important to preserve the world, preserve the climate, so that it's a world worth living in, for the future generations. Now, a lot of people don't see that because their consciousness is not there. And if you look at today's political landscape, you will definitely see that a lot of people are not there. Okay, a lot of people are not there. A lot of people can't even understand that it's wrong to kill people because I don't want to go into this political stuff. Anyways, the point is this: everybody develops individually. Everybody's state of consciousness grows individually, and spirituality is just another level of learning. It's just another level of learning, and what you're going through gradually is a dissolution of the ego, meaning you take yourself less and less serious in a sense where it doesn't mean that you let everybody push you around or whatever. That's not what I'm saying here, but it is an understanding of the interconnectedness of things. Okay, an understanding of the interconnectedness of things, and usually the further your consciousness has developed, the more you understand your own insignificance, and you are also capable of putting the needs of the group above your own. Okay, now this is also called maturity, of course. This is called maturity, but maturity doesn't necessarily have anything to do with age, you see. So yeah, but I believe if you want to lead people, you need maturity because you have to understand your own emotions. And if you understand your own emotions, you can guide people because they have the same emotions. It's all about that. Okay. So next question. Can the circle gazing without blinking exercise be done in place of the 180 bottle exercise? Or are these for different purposes? I seem to get in a deeper trance easier with the circle gazing. Though you're supposed to do both. The circle gazing is for focus. There are different magical gazes. One of them are more for perception, meaning they're passive, they take in, and some of them are more for directing energy. So the circle gazing it trains the directional gaze, where you direct energy, and the bottle exercise allows you to take in information better. So you should do both of them separately. Hi Frank, hope you're doing good. Could you please tell me what is the next step I should take? I have a lot of trouble lately with my path. I'm very overwhelmed with information. Thank you. The next step to take. Okay, bro. You understand that this is a little bit unspecific. So if you could be more specific, I'm sure I can help. I'm really feeling bad ever since I dissolved my human ego. I've been falling into severe depression and not having any motive in life. Can you give me some insight? I have dissolved my human ego. You're funny, my friend. You're funny. I'm not even going to answer that. Come on, man. I have dissolved my human ego. I have dissolved my human ego, and I've done it better than anyone else. And if I'm going to get enlightened, I'm going to do it before anyone else. You understand, motherfucker? No one's going to beat me at becoming enlightened and dissolving my ego. This is what it sounds like, my friend. No, forget it. Okay. Do I need my full attention on the act of administrating Reiki on myself? E.g., can I listen to all your lectures while doing Reiki, or will this diminish the Reiki flow? Why would you want to do that? And when you do Reiki, you should be focused on your inner world. You should be focused on your inner perceptions. You shouldn't be distracted by something like an audio lecture. Are you trying to multitask here? Are you trying to multitask? Right? I mean, see, my recommendation is when people always think that they have to multitask and do things like do multiple things at the same time, I always tell them that they're not suffering from a lack of time. They're suffering from a lack of focus and concentration, which comes from a lack of direction. If you think that you have to do too many things, you don't have your priorities right. And you never heard about Pareto. Maybe you ever heard about Pareto, but don't understand it. Pareto is basically 80-20. 80% of the things that you do on a daily basis don't get you any results. When you focus on the 20% of the things that actually get you results, you will have so much time. And you will be more productive. You'll actually get results. Okay, so what you should do is study the Pareto principle, apply it to your own life, and no, you don't multitask while you do spiritual exercises. You don't do that. What's next? Reading a book while evoking a demon? Is that what you're gonna do? Or astral travel while you fuck a bitch? Or I don't know. What is that? Did you ever find anyone to mentor? You mean an apprentice? Yeah, I did. What methods can one practice to reconnect with the all? All right. I think more important than the practice is the attitude towards the practice. You can do it if you do Zen practices. You can do that with yoga. You can do that with meditation practices. They all lead to similar understandings, but it's the matter of, look. It's what's most important is the practice, meaning the attitude that you use to do the things. Okay, it's the dedication to a path. I think what is not understood is because, see, I think we have a fundamental problem in society where people cannot commit to things. They cannot commit to things, and therefore they will never go into depth with things. There's such a plethora of influences, from each side. Every day there's something new, a new influence. So many choices, right? I think there's a book on that. It's called the paradox of choice, where people used to believe that more choice equals more happiness, but it's actually the opposite. More choice creates decision fatigue, and it makes people worse, and it makes people feel worse because they always have the feeling that they're missing out on something. But at one point, my friend, you have to decide. You have to decide, and you have to commit. That's the only way where you can really, really extract the secrets out of something. Devotion to a path, dedication to a path is the most important thing. More important than anything. More important than the practices. More important than anything. It's the dedication to a specific path. So more important than any of that is your focus and your dedication. Meaning, do you actually dedicate yourself to the practice? Do you live that path? And that has to do with your identity, because it is to be, to do, and then to have. Okay? Your behavior comes from your beingness. You have to be first, you see. So you have to pick the identity first. Who do you want to be? The problem in this world is, in this Western world, is that everybody's just focusing on behaviors and possessions. When in reality, the identity, the beingness will cause the two others. Your beingness will cause your behavior and your possessions as a result of that. You see? So people often struggle with money. What is your identity when it comes to that? What is your identity when it comes to money? What is your identity when it comes to spirituality? What is your identity when it comes to girls or men? What is the identity, you see? Once you accept a certain identity, behavior and possessions are going to be the natural result of that, you see? you will often find that, let's say in organizations, certain people are going to do bad in a certain position. Okay. And they're horrible, man. They suck. They really suck at that job. And then you take them into a different position, and all of a sudden that person becomes like a real asset. And why is that? Well, their identity was aligned with their position here. You'll never be able to lead people if in your identity, in your own mind, in your subconscious, you are a follower or somebody that takes orders. Doesn't work. Okay. You'll never be able to make money if in your identity, in your self-image, you are poor. Or if that's not part of your self-image. You will never be able to go anywhere with spirituality if your identity is not that you are a magician. You see? So more than anything, focus on your identity. The rest is going to be the result of that. You're playing a game here, man. You just pick a character, pick a beingness, and then act accordingly. All right. Do you have a preferred tarot spread for pre-spell divinations? No, I don't. Just learn a couple and then that's it. Just learn a couple and then see what feels right. What's a great way to determine what the 20% is on what we're doing? Ritter principle. Yeah. You need the outcome that you want to create. What is your current project? What is the current project that you're working on? Okay, so you need a specific goal, a target. You know, a chain, I'm sure you heard that before. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. All right, and you can see your life as different parts linking together and making up the chain of your life, right? So when it comes to your projects, you have a certain position where you're at right now, and you have a certain destination. That gives you a chain of events, right? Or let's say there's definitely a chain of some sort, right? Now, in your life, you have two different types of problems. Okay. One, the first type is the problem where you have to add something, where you have to put work into it. Okay. And the other type of problem is something needs to be removed. Okay. And by the way, I recommend that you take notes here because this is crucial. If you actually implement what I'm teaching you here, you're gonna be leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else around you. I promise. Okay. So you have two types of problems. Either you have to act and you have to do something, or you have to remove something. Let me give you an example. You want to accomplish a project. Okay. You want to accomplish project A. The 20% of the actions that you have to take that will give you 80% of the results are the thing that you can do right now that will get you closest or nearest to the outcome that you wanted. Okay. So analyze your life. In the morning, you sit down and you got to know your goal. What do I want to accomplish? Meaning, I want to build a website, for example. Okay. I want to build a website. Write down, brainstorm all the activities that could lead or that are necessary for you to make that happen. Okay. And then you pick 2 or 3 for today that you can do right now. Okay. Because there's always a chronological order. You can't do step 5 before you can do step 1, obviously, right? So you pick step 1, 2, and 3, and you make sure that you do those. Okay. And that could be something like Okay, let's say when it comes to the example of building a website, it could be, what would be removing an obstacle? What would that be? Removing an obstacle would be, um, somebody's been bugging you to meet them, or somebody's taken away your time, and you got to focus. Okay, so the task for today is to tell that person that you can't meet them, and you won't meet them for the next month because you got to work on something. That's, you removed a distraction. That is work. That's actual work. And number two is, okay, I gotta buy the domain, and I gotta find somebody that can program that for me, or somebody that can build it for me. Okay, and then, whatever else is necessary there. But look, the main problem that people usually have, it's not that intelligence is the problem, or they're not smart enough, or any of that. No, it's not being able what to focus on. That's it. And at that point, man, the best spell I've ever found is just a piece of paper and a pen. You sit down and you figure out what you want, where you are, and then you figure out what needs to be done, step by step by step. And then you just do it, man. You just sit down and write it down. See, when you have it in front of you, it makes things so much easier. That's all. How does the interpretation of consciousness affect reality? Well, look at quantum physics. Study that. I've been reading some work from Franz Barden. What are your thoughts on his teachings? It's good stuff. It just takes a hell of a lot of time to go through the exercises and actually meet the requirements. A lot of stuff can be done faster. Hello from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Your content is so amazing and on point. Much respect. Thank you. Thoughts on Hatha yoga? Hatha yoga is great. I practice it myself pretty much every day. I would say 5 to 6 times a week. But it has to be understood as part of a bigger system. There are other practices that are connected to yoga as well, karma yoga and other things, Raja yoga. So try to read the scriptures connected to it, and Patanjali, Bhagavad Gita, and others. Yeah. Is this a trance channel? A trance channel? What is that? A trance channel? I don't know what that means. Trance channel? That sounds, it's like, I don't know, whatever. Hi, Frank. Do you think it is necessary to have a good attitude in regards to personal development? I'm not very happy dieting, but commit and derive a degree of satisfaction from the results. Well, look, I mean, once you make a decision, your emotions in regard to the decision shouldn't be that big of a factor anymore. What matters is the outcome that you chose, that you picked, and once you made the decision and move yourself through through the activities, your emotions should be of no factor. Of no consequence is what I'm saying. They should be no factor. Your emotions are going to be different tomorrow than they are right now. They have been different an hour ago, right? I'm assuming you're a lady with that pick. For women, it's even more volatile. Okay, men are not emotionally stable. Women are 3 or 4. I don't know how many times more volatile with their emotions. Yeah, this morning you might have been super down. In the afternoon you're super high, and then late afternoon it goes down again. So you can't trust your emotions. Emotions are just energy in motion. That's how you should see them. Energy. All right. Is this game of higher, lower vibrations, is this the game of higher, lower vibrations, or can you evolve your practice beyond the limitations of it? Yeah, I'm not going to answer that. I mean, focus on the image through the psychic link while visualizing and while setting your intention of the outcome you want in the situation. I have no context here. If you wish to assume the identity of the magician, what must one do? To assume an identity, well, it's just it's a decision. It is a decision. It is a decision. Okay. You keep your frame. You can ask yourself, what would a magician do? How does a magician handle that? You know? Or let me give you an example. Imagine you are a character in a video game, or you're a superhero. Okay, you're a superhero. The superhero movie is about you, and your superpower is you're the sorcerer. You're a sorcerer supreme. You know. By the way, I watched Doctor Strange recently. Great movie. I watched it the second time, by the way. But yeah, what does a magician do? A magician does not have the morning routine of a carpenter, right? You're a magician. You're a sorcerer. That's your superhero movie. What does that superhero do? Gets up in the morning and he does something magical. How does he eat? What does he eat? Why does he eat the way he eats? Because he's a magician, you know? How does he carry himself? How does he see the world? How does he interpret the world? You gotta look, which brings me back to this. I mean, I had the School of Forbidden Power with the pimp, right? With Kevin. And somebody asked a question on one of the lectures that we were doing, and I was answering the question by telling that person to do this and that ritual to call upon that spirit and to use this and that sigil, right? And Kevin was then, wow, you see, this is what's going on. I would have answered that question completely different, but I would have answered it from a pimp perspective. He would have used the abilities of a pimp to accomplish the same thing. I am a magician, so I do witchcraft to accomplish that thing. Okay, which I think it was something about immigration that we were being asked. Somebody wanted to immigrate somewhere and whatever, and whatever. He asked for our recommendations on how to do that. So the point is, you use your superpower to accomplish that. Okay, your superpower could be something else, right? But you do that to overcome the challenges of life. Your survival value, in other words, what is your survival value? What is your special ability that makes you very survival? Or in other words, if you were the hero in a movie, why would the female main character fall in love with you? What is your superpower? What is the superpower that you have that makes you superior to all the other guys, so that she knows that you're the right guy to mate with? What is that? That's how I would think about it. That's your identity, you see? But if your identity is that you don't have any of that, that you're just a guy, a generic beta loser, you're going to get the results of that, you see? So really take that to heart. You know, I mean that. I mean that. Maybe that sounds what's the word? Maybe you're not used to that type of thinking, but that's how you need to think. You know? It's literally how you have to think. What if this is a movie and I am the superhero and I am the magician? How do I accomplish my tasks? How do I overcome the tasks that I have? What makes me superior to all the other guys out there? What makes me better? What makes my sperm superior to any other guy's sperm out there? That's how you need to think. Okay. So, and for you ladies, like what makes you a quality of woman or what would make a man want to commit to you? All his resources and power and strength. What would make a man commit to you in that way? All right. So that's how you need to see it. Is Adam Watts someone you would recommend for Zen philosophy? Yeah, why not? Is it true you can't reach your higher self if you can't attune yourself to high enough vibrations? If you wish to then assume the identity of the magician, okay, I just answered that. Hi, Frank. In rituals of Christianity, there are symbols like the throne, the king, the scepter, the sun, and the cross, which are related to authority and dominion. Is it possible that initially these rituals were intended for magical outcomes, and in time their metaphysical symbolism was lost and they degenerated into a religious, moralistic, and exoteric viewpoint? And if that's the case, if we restore their initial meaning, could they be used more beneficially? Okay, the first part of your questions. These rituals were intended for magical outcomes. Yes, for sure. And in time, yeah, but the magical outcome is to feed the egregory of Christianity. Okay. And in time, their metaphysical symbolism was lost and they degenerated into religious, moralistic, and exoteric viewpoint. Look, nothing about religion is ever beneficial to the religious person. It's always a massive sacrifice to some sort of an entity and some sort of a god form. It's never about about humanity. Religions are not about humans at all. Okay? And yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, they have mystical, implications and all that. But the religion itself, the context in which they're used, is not about you. It's about how can they feed off of your energy, your attention, your devotion. You see. So I would like, why would you get into that? It's not benefiting you in any way. All right. Is there any reason you didn't answer my question about life, left-hand path and right-hand path and vibrations? I didn't see it. What is the best way to create the necessary shifts in consciousness to work magic? Oh man, I did plenty of videos on that. Did plenty of videos on that. Frank, is there a specific spirit you would recommend working with? Maybe a pact to help me attain success in accumulating wealth over time through the stock market specifically. I want to put in the work. Is there a specific spirit you would recommend working with? Maybe a pact to help me attain success and accumulation wealth over time for the stock market. Yeah, there are a couple of spirits that I would recommend. A pact. Yeah, maybe a pact, but you would have to. I don't know what level you're at, so it really depends on you. But I don't know who you are. Some people I would recommend a pact, to others I wouldn't. Stock market. If you know what you're doing, yeah. I know a lot of people say that the stock market is too volatile, but look, I mean, there are many people that make 15%, 20%, and not just hedge fund managers, okay? People that say that you can't make money in the stock market usually don't understand the stock market or don't understand how to make money there. You can definitely make consistent profits there. I think real estate is yeah, real estate is safer, but I don't like real estate, to be honest. I don't like it. Look, I mean, the main problem is this, okay? Everybody is getting real estate right now, and they're not just getting it to flip it. Most people are getting it. Like they take their, I don't know, their life savings to buy one house that they try that they plan on renting out, right? I mean, look, demography is not in your favor, okay? So you need people that rent that house in the future, right? In most countries, you have a falling birth rate, and uh, demographics are projected to go down in the future in 10, 20 years, or wherever you want to retire. So you're gonna have a harder time renting that stuff out, and if you're going to do it, you're going to do it at a loss. So you're going to lose on your investment. You're going to lose out on that. Okay. So, and besides that, real estate is so overhyped, I think. Have you ever owned a real estate property? Have you ever done any of that? Because if you do that, you will know that it's a lot of work. It's not passive income. It is not passive income. You have to constantly do things with the property. And you have to be available for the tenants and whatnot, you see? And if the house is not big enough or the property is not big enough, you can't even afford the fucking somebody to do that work for you. You see, so it always depends on your budget. It depends on what you're doing specifically, how long you're going to be invested in it. But what I'm saying is the way most people do it, you know, the more they're just being sold something, you know, they're just being sold another hustle. But it's not as great as people think, real estate, really, you know. I like businesses. I like investing in that stuff. Yeah, because the upside is so high. But and the stock market too. But I digress. I didn't even want to talk about that stuff. Coming back to your question, it really depends on your situation. You know, I can't give you a good answer based on what I know here. Random question. Do you think there are any metaphysical implications in regards to the antisocial personality disorders such as psychopathy or sociopathy? Yeah, everything has a spiritual implication, always. I mean, depends on what you define as spiritual. Spiritual is anything that is not physical. Okay, so you could say that their thoughts and their personality are spiritual. So yeah, definitely there are spiritual connotations to everything, you know? To everything. See, friends, and I say that in a way where I really believe that this is going to help you. You need to define the words that you use, and define them for yourself more than anything else, not for me or this life. I'm telling you, it's for you. There's nothing more important that you're able to use language and the terms in your language in a way where they're clearly defined. Otherwise, you're never going to fully grasp a concept. You're going to move around in a universe where you don't really understand the signs. Imagine driving through traffic and you vaguely understand what a sign means, a stop sign, for instance. Let's say your definition is that the stop sign means if you want, you can keep driving, just drive slower. Well, that's not the definition of the stop sign. The stop sign definition is you come to a full halt, and then you check left, right, if something's coming, and then you can continue, right? That's the full definition of a stop sign. What does it have to do with your language and the world? See, we live in a world of concepts more than anything else, okay? It's a world of concepts and ideas more than a world of physical objects. So if you want to dominate the physical world, if you want to dominate, let's say the topic of, let's say what we were talking about, your money or something like that, real estate, you would have to understand the terms of that field. The problem, because why most people can't do what they want to do, is because they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't even understand the terms that they're using. You see, they never ever sit down to fully define what spirituality actually means. What does personality mean? What do all of these words that they're using constantly actually mean? Define them. Define them. How do you do that? You, whatever word you come across, whether you read something, whether you hear something, pick up your phone and type in that word in Google, and then etymology behind that. Etymology. Spirituality, etymology. And as you do that, I promise you, the universe is going to open up to you in a completely different way. Your brain is going to be like, imagine this brain exploding with energy and being able to connect to all kinds of different pathways. That's literally how it is, man. You open up the universe at that point for you. Okay? So you have to understand language. You have to understand what words mean. Clearly define every single word that you use in your language. Don't, and this is what most people do, they guess the meaning out of a context. And that's why they're fucking all over the place. That's why they're never reaching their destination, because they can't read the signs, you see. So I promise you, if you do that, just take this tip. If you just take this tip, your life will be transformed and changed forever for the better. You're welcome. All right. I agree with you. I was going to add real estate, but right now I have been studying, learning, and practicing the stock market for several months. I've had some success, but the volatility is where money is made, and I've made up my mind I will do the stock market. I want success, and I've been following you for years. I think working with the spirits would work well. Okay. How do we understand language better? Well, like I said, just begin to, like, every word that you don't fully understand. Let's say you read a text and you find a word that that you either don't know what it means or you can't fully define. Grab your phone on Google, type in that name, that word, and the word etymology behind it. Okay? Etymology is the study of the origin of words, and then you're going to be able to fully understand what that word means. What is your take on? Hold on. Okay, guys. I'm going to leave it at this. We did around 1 hour. And will you be contributing to the Satan Compendium? No, I will not. I will contribute to a compendium that is focused on sex magic, and it's going to come out in 2021, around June 2021. That's what I'm going to contribute to. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up now. I hope you got something out of this, and talk to you soon. Be well. What do I get out of this fucking stream?